finish off the percents. So we're going to be solving percent problems for the whole given the part and the percent. This is going to be our big one. You have 2 pages out of your homework, math book for your homework, page 297 and 298. Right now, go ahead and open up in your modules to page 291. This is where we left off last class. Yes, Samuel? I'm sorry? Do you have legs? Sign out. On this one, an accountant is reviewing a store's financial statements. Some of the information is missing. All of the employee names, their bonus percent, and the bonus amounts and total sales should appear in the table. But some of it is missing. So we're going to need you guys to go about filling it in. So we've got 2 ways to do this. If they give us, the bonus amount, you're going to want to use the percent proportion that we gave you guys last time. So for the amount, you're going to want to set it up using the proportion, which is percent over 100 is the part over the whole. It's going to be your best way to solve these. I'll give you a heads up. These numbers don't all work out really well. Okay? We're going to cut Tanya out. Hers just gets way too complex. But for the other one here, you can use benchmark percents. So they give me the total, use benchmark. That should be the easiest problem on there. So that means you've only got 4 problems to do. I've already told you 3 of the 4 you want to use a setup. Remember, if I don't know what I multiply by to go from percent to part, but I have 2 numbers, what can I do instead? I can divide. So if I divide it, that will tell me what goes in my magic box. I'll give you a hint. On 2 of them, it's going to be a decimal that you're multiplying by. So work it out to the nearest hundredth, and then multiply. Okay? We'll give you guys about 10 minutes to do these 4 problems. Go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, I see several of you that are struggling. So let me just show you one to make this a little easier. I actually already worked it out, but I was told I didn't record, so we're going to redo it for the recording. So Keisha should work well. Mario's easy because I'm just using benchmarks. So let's do Ruth. Ruth, I set it up. I set all of these up the same. We just start here. The first thing I need is my percent. That goes over 100. In these cases, I've got the parts. That's going to be 650. 15 does not go easily to 650, so I'm going to simplify. I can divide that by 5. It gives me a 3. Can I go easily from 3 to 650? The answer on that one is no. But if I don't know what it is, if I can't simplify anymore, and I can't go easily, at least I know the numbers, so I can now do the inverse operation. I can now go this way and divide. So I'm going to take 650, I'm going to divide it by 3. So my first one goes nice. Bring down the 5. That one's still not bad. Then I end up with a 2. 20, that's going to be a 6. And now I end up in a repeating situation. So because we're dealing with money, we'll go to 2 decimal places. So what I've just now done is found out my magic box. So going the other way, I multiplied by 216 and 6/600ths, now meaning I need to do that with the 20. So 216 and 6/600ths times 20. I have 2 decimal places. So now we just multiplied. 0, 12, 13, 12, 13, 2, 3, and 4. And then I put 2 decimal places in my answer. So I now know that that answer was $4,333.20. So even though it doesn't work out super nice like it should if you do Keisha right, you should still be able to do Joseph's because this is going to be very similar to what we just did on that one. Okay, guys, keep working. Finish up the rest of these. Okay, so our first one, we hadn't done that one yet. So we have 18% and 540. 18%, 540. Will 18 go easily to 540? Yes. Some of you might see it, most of you aren't. But I know I can simplify 18 and 100 by 2. That gives me 9 and 50. Is it easy to go from 9 to 540? Everyone should be able to see that one because 9 times 6 is 54. So 9 times 60 would be 540, meaning I do 50 times 60 and I get $3,000. Okay? Mario, this one was super easy because they gave us one of the bench line percents to use, 10%, meaning all I need to do is move my decimal once. So that one was 325. Benchmarks only work if I have the totals. I can't use benchmarks to find my part if they give me the part to find the whole, guys. So benchmarks only work on the totals. Then Joseph, this was a really fun one, but they all start the same. If you will start here, then it should fall into place. Once it falls into place, then you got to do the math, sorry, but at least the math will be done properly. Then all we're worried about is errors. So what was my percent for Joseph? 23. So what goes over 100? 23. It's not a trick question. Was the 678 the part of the whole? The part. So I know that goes on top. And I don't know my bottom. Is it easy to go from 23 to 678? No. Can I simplify 23 and 100? No. If I have said no twice, it doesn't go easy and I can't simplify, you're left with one choice. I know I'm going this way, so I'm going to multiply, meaning if I go the other way, I have to divide. So I need to go 678 divided by 23. So that's going to go twice, subtract 46. 218, that's going to go 9 times 27, 18, 19, 20. Gives me a 1. I'm now into decimals. Bring down a 0. 110, that's going to go 4 times. Subtract 12, 8, 92. Gives me 10, 8, 180. So that's going to go about 6 times. Gives me 18, 12, 13. Nope, that's going to go 7 times. So 7 times will give us 21, 14, 16. So that one's all that's all the further we're going to go on that one. But I now know what my magic box was, right? So I multiplied by 29 and 47 hundredths. The good news is I'm multiplying by 100. So if I multiply by 100, what am I doing to my decimal? Moving it twice. So I just move it twice. So the total sales was 2,947. Now there may have been some sense on that because I didn't continue my division, but that one should be close enough. Does this make sense now that you're seeing it? Do you think you're going to be able to do it on your own? Because this is what your homework looks like. So if you're having troubles on the homework, come back to the video, watch this part of it. That should help you on the homework. Okay, our next one. Garrett thought Hank's method for calculating percents of a number would work for calculating the whole. He said you can divide to determine the whole when you know only the part. Then he gave an example. In your books, for some reason, they wrote 1,500 here, or 500. Make that 1,500. If you do 500, it's not going to work. But I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. Try to work it out. I'll give you a hint. Do this math, and then that will fill in the parts for you. See if it works. See if it makes sense. Tell me at the end if you think it works or not. Okay? So I'll give you guys about 4 minutes to do this part. Okay, this last part. They've actually given us a new format for doing these. So if we do, we're going to verify it first. So first thing you got to do is take the numbers and do the math. So I do 1,500 times 2/10. I have 1 decimal. Now I just multiply 1,500 by 2. 0, 0, 10, 3. 1 decimal place means that the part was $300. Did that match up? Yep. The other one, now I'm going to go the other way. 300 divided by 2/10. Am I allowed to have a decimal in my divisor? No, so how do I get rid of it? But then I also have to do what? Have to do both. So if I move this one, I also have to move this one. Empty buckets get a 0. Okay? So 2 goes into 3 once. Gives me a 1. Goes into 10 5 times. Now I'm at 0, but I still need to keep track of them. So it's a 0 and a 0 because I moved my decimal, correct? So that means that my whole was 1,500. Did it work? Brock, since you were so busy talking, did it work?
Yes, but not always.
Why not always?
Because for a few numbers it won't work.
Which ones?
There's a lot of numbers I'm keeping in.
So why would you say it won't work for some of them? It will always work. What they've just done is they've given you a new format. So yes, this will always work is our answer. What they've now done is given you what we call the percent equation. So add this to your notes down here. This will be the second one that you may want to bookmark to go with the percent proportion. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of the way they have done our percents on this. Next year, I have a very strong feeling Ms. McShannon and I will be doing this entire lesson differently because they have basically just thrown a whole bunch of stuff at you rather than giving you the pieces and allow you to perfect them. They threw it all at you at once and didn't give you a chance to work on any of it. But the percent equation will always work. The way the percent equation works is I take the whole and I multiply by the percent. Here's the key. My percent must be written as a decimal. And then it is going to equal the part. Now, using our basic math skills, we can rearrange our equation so that if I'm trying to find the whole, I can take the part, and instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide by the percent. Again, as a decimal, so you have to be able to do that conversion, and that will equal the whole. Okay? Is everybody familiar with how do we change the percent to a decimal?
Yeah.
Just move it to the left twice. Okay? Does the percent equation make sense for you? Okay, I'll be honest with you, given a lot of the numbers they've given us in these problems, percent equation will probably work better for you on your homework. I still prefer the percent proportion. It will still give you all of the numbers you need, and you'll still know if you need to divide. But especially what I've seen today, a lot of you are not comfortable enough with the proportion yet to be able to do it with reliability. Okay? Let's go ahead and go into our next page. Let's get a little more practice here. I actually like this one because this is just some practice. So we'll give you, you're allowed to do either way. I highly recommend proportion. Again, just to show everybody, that should be the start for your setup. If you will set up from there, the rest of the pieces will fall into place. Okay? If you want to try to use the percent equation, you may. But all of these, all 7 of these work actually really well with percent proportion if you set it up properly. Remember that this is, the first thing I do is put in the percent. Second thing I do is find the of. The last thing is whatever is left. If I don't know what the of is, I'm going to put an X there. That's my holder for what I don't know. Okay, question or are you just stretching? Any questions? So you have 7 problems to do here. We'll give you guys about 8 minutes. Go ahead and start. Okay, guys, as I said, every one of these should start the same way. If I start with this, the rest should fall in easy. What's my percent? 25. So that's what goes over 100. It says of what? So do I know my of?
No. Yeah.
No. Meaning whatever's left goes on top. That's a 15. Will 25 go easy to 15? Girls, you need to stop. So I need to divide by 5. Gives me 5 and 20. Will 5 go easy to 15?
Yes.
Yes, times 3. So I do 20 times 3 and I get 60. There's my answer. Next one, again, they all, if you set them up, the rest should come easily, guys. Start with this basic setup, fill in the blanks. Do I know my percent?
Yes.
Yeah. Do I know my of?
No.
No. Meaning what's left goes here. Can I go easily from 30 to 15? I hope most of you know I just divide by 2. So I do 100 divided by 2 and I get 50. If you didn't see it, you can always step back. 3 to 15 times 5. Okay, starting again the same way. What is my percent? 75. What's my of? Don't know. So my one that's left is 45. Can I go easily from 75 to 45? No, but I can divide these both by 5. That's going to give me 15 and 20. Can I easily go from 15 to 45? Yes, times 3. So I do times 3 and I get 60. Next one, we start the same. Are you guys starting to see how this works?
Yes.
Can you see how easy you can make this for yourselves? So do I have my percent? 20. Do I have my of? No. My last number goes here. Can I go easily from 20 to 16? No, but I can divide these by 10. Gives me 2 and 10. 2 to 16 is times 8. So I do 10 times 8. And I get 80. Our next one, over 100. Here's my percent. That's a 40. Don't know my of. So that makes 36. Can I go easily from 40 to 36? No, but I can divide these by 10. Gives me 4 and 10. 4 to 36 is times 9. 10 times 9 gives me 90. 15%. Don't know my of, so 6 is my last number. Can I go easily from 15 to 6? No, but I can simplify this. Divide by 5 gives me 3 and 20. Can I go easily from 3 to 6? Times 2. Times 2 gives me, that's a 0, 40. And then the last one. So 30%. Do I know my of? Nope. My last number goes here. Does 30 go easily to 27? Nope, but I can divide by 10. Excuse me, 3 and 10, not 3 to 27.
9.
Times 9, meaning this one is 90. Do you see how these can be very easy if you will set up the proportions? Yes, Autumn.
I did AC and
You could. You can use a percent equation. There's a lot of other things you could simplify or go directly on those. So again, that's why it's so important for you to show your work so we know which way you're doing it. Okay, here's a key note, and this is going to be very important, guys, as we do any of these money problems, which will be a big piece. So if it's 25% off the regular price, that means 75% of the regular price is what it actually is, correct? Yes. So if I've given you a sale price, that's actually 75% of the regular price. Okay? So that'll be very helpful as you're starting to set these problems up. So a department store recently had a big sale. The prices were marked 25% off of the regular price. After the sale, Tremaine must mark each of the items back up to its original price. The table lists the items and their sale prices. Help Tremaine complete the table, round values to the nearest cent if necessary. So here's our task. We need to complete the table. Unfortunately, we're down to like 5 minutes, so we're not going to have a whole lot of time to do this. But what I do know is the basic setup for all of these is 75 over 100 is the sale price over the original price. Make sense? Okay? So from this, 75 over 100, I can divide both those by 25. That gives me 3/4. How do I go from 3 to 24? Times 8. So I do 4 times 8, and I would get 32. So the original price on that was $32. Will all of those work out well? Probably not. But with 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, we need to go to our homework. So go ahead and turn to page 297. Guys, I'm going to give you a couple notes you're going to want to write down on this. So the manager at the store keeps track of points for each employee. They earn points for being on time for work and keeping the store neat on a particular day. He gives smile points for each time an employee smiles at a customer. He recorded the smile points that each employee received along with the total points for that employee. So we need to now complete the table. So on this one, they kind of switched up the order for us. This would be the part. This is our percent. And this is our total, or our whole. Okay? So you've got a few different ways to do these at this point. My recommendation on this, looking at the numbers, most of these actually should work really well to use a percent proportion. Okay? So remember that the percent over 100 is the part over the whole. Don't forget to step back. And even that one, that was gonna, the total points is gonna be a little bit tougher. This one I would probably say use your benchmarks. And personally, I would do 10 and subtract 2 ones. Okay? Because they gave you your total. Number 2, they sold 12 jazz downloads from the online store. That was 2%. So would that be the part or the whole? The part. Okay? So figure out how many songs were downloaded. And if they did 14 on tomorrow and it's still 2%, what's the total? So all you're doing is changing that part. That one should be quite easy, guys. Turning the page, your back side, calculate each unknown value. They gave you all parts on this, or no, all wholes. No, they didn't. These are all parts. No, it goes back and forth. So you got to pay attention to the of. If it says of what, that means I don't know it. If they say of 60, then they've given me the whole. Percent proportion is going to be your best bet on all of those, looking quickly at the numbers. So I would highly recommend percent proportion for all of those. Questions on any of your homework? Okay, so you got 2 pages. Some of you may want to look back at the video today just to make sure you've got everything done correctly. Good luck.